All right, Samaria, you know my Jersey pride is always sky high. And being from Irvington, New Jersey, anything out of Essex County, I'm really gonna ride for. I mean, the end of my block growing up is Newark, New Jersey. And we say Newark like pork with an N, just for the record. Now, I have watched the pride of the city, Shakur Stevenson, take the world by storm over the last 4 or 5 years, right? He's a phenomenal boxer, and I'm incredibly happy for his success, but he was so wrong in calling out Cam and Mase after they critiqued his fight for being boring on their show, It Is What It Is. Shakur said they weren't legends and sounded young and uninformed about two of the all-time great rappers from New York. Samaria, my question for you is, what do you think about young athletes running to social media to combat criticism?
It's just not good. It's not good because unfortunately, your legacy is going to be that. I would never go back and forth with Cameron and Mase. You've seen their show. Like they annihilated that dude. That is what people are going to know you as. And you going back and forth with them on social media, you're putting more eyeballs on their show. Because I really wasn't watching them. But then when you brought it up, I'm like, okay, well, let me go and search this on Twitter. And I mean, thousands of retweets, thousands of likes going off on you.
There's no such thing as bad press, especially in boxing. Sometimes the outlandish boxers, the ones who have a voice that exists outside of the ring, right? They have to be such self-promoters. Their careers go extremely well. Even Adrian Broner, who I think he's lost maybe his last like 6 or 7 fights by all accounts, but he still has a voice, and so he's still a draw. And so maybe Shakur Stevenson is trying to drum up some of that attention to help sell his next fight. Yo, again, I'm a fan of Shakur, right? Like, young brother from Newark, New Jersey, fought his way up out of it, literally is fire. But his fights are boring in comparison to some of his peers, in comparison to Tank Davis, who's like a knockout artist. Like, people want to see extreme endings to boxing matches, and Shakur Stevenson is a technician. He doesn't really give you that. And so it can be a tough watch for a casual fan or somebody who really just wants to see violence in the ring. I think he has a great opportunity now to take a foolish moment and help propel his next fight. Cam and Mase are masterful promoters. If you're familiar with Cam, Dipset, they are people who move the pulse of culture. And so I think it would be to Shakur's benefit to go on the show and have a conversation with these two men face to face. See how you handle that kind of fire, because I think he's capable.
I'm saying that they went off on Jay Prince. Jay Prince is like, I'm his manager. You really think he's going to let him go on that show now?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Jay Prince is more than a manager. He a businessman, and he understands the business of impact more than anybody. Whatever you think about Jay Prince, however you feel like he moves in the street, if you want to consider him a gangster, at the end of the day, he's a businessman. He understands the business of marketing as well. He understands what it means to have a mouthpiece and to grow your name on the internet. Like Cam and Mase said, Shakur Stevenson was in Billboard. He had never been in Billboard prior to mixing it up with them. I
just feel like he's lost a little bit of street cred, and it's gonna take a lot to get that back.
Yeah, people, you say that. Yeah, I hear you, but at the same time, he from Newark, New Jersey. He really from the jungle of Newark, New Jersey. Like, that's not a young boy from like who playing around. Like, he come from where he come from. Let me ask you this, because I'm wondering, right? There are so many famous people, right, who are famous for anything, music, entertainment, whatever they gain their name from. They transition into more of a media space, right? But sometimes it feels like, or it looks like, these people are personally attacking you because it doesn't feel as if they're true media. Do you feel like that's a hard thing for people to understand, recognizing who's doing their job in media versus who's just talking crazy to them?
Yeah, and I think that that's where he messed up at. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you didn't have to say anything. Like, a lot of people are critiquing you. I'm sure you could tune into ESPN and people were saying things like, or on Twitter, you're going to go back and forth with every sintle person that has something negative to say. Then you're not a real boxer. Like,
yo, if Muhammad Ali had Twitter back in the day, if Mike Tyson had Twitter back in the day, they would be going crazy. If Tupac had a Twitter account back in the day, can you imagine the things that Tupac would have been saying on Twitter, on Instagram, if they had a platform as big as social media?
Okay, so I'm saying, if you're Shakur, I'll ask you a question then, Rodney. If you're Shakur Stevenson and you see Cameron and Mase got this show where they just joke, right? Like, it's really funny. I don't take it seriously. If you see that, you really gonna go off the way that Shakur did on Twitter, like, and looking kind of crazy.
It depends on my end game. If my end game is to grow my name, if my end game is to create buzz, if my end game is to have press, then yeah, I'm gonna go back and forth with these gentlemen because their clips go viral. Now, if he's just miserable, sad, depressed, and sad because of the reception that his fights are getting, that's a different conversation. But if he's doing this strategically with the understanding of what's potentially to come on the other side of these disputes, then I'm all for that, because again, there's no bad press. Everything is good for him. All this whole interaction is only benefits Shakur Stevenson. Now people are gonna want to see him get knocked out. Right now, people are watching to see how you fail, which it might be tough on you internally, mentally. Right? We talk about mental health, but it don't matter. You fighting for the bag. You fighting for a chance to secure your family's future. Again, Newark, New Jersey. Y'all let us know your thoughts. Do you feel like Shakur Stevenson was in the wrong for going back and forth with Cam and Mase, or is it a good strategy to help grow his brand?